Andy, could you have envisioned your return going much better? Second game back, scoring the winning goal in a huge Asian Champions League elite game?
Yeah, absolutely. I manifested it for the last 12 months. No, I mean, I was obviously really happy to be able to contribute to the team and get us that win in the Champions League that we really needed. And, it's just hopefully we can just kick on from here and sort of pick up where I left off last season.
Physically, how are you feeling, mate? Obviously, 2 games in short turnaround coming back off an injury, but with a lot of the other boys out, you might need to pull back up again in the derby. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel really good, to be honest. Against Brisbane, I thought I was going to be gassed after 2 or 3 sprints, but I felt really good. And then again against Machida, I felt even better. So the more I step out on the pitch and sort of put those Ks in the tank, I'm just going to be better off for it.
Andy, can the atmosphere of a derby and a grand final rematch, lift your team who might be a bit tired and after a big week?
No, we're not tired. We're ready for it. It's a derby. You don't need any motivation. It's a derby. It's a big one for our fans. It's a big one for our club. It's the first time, obviously, we've played them since the grand final. They're going to be looking for revenge, and we're ready for it. Doesn't matter who's not there on game day. It just matters who's in that change room and on the pitch, and the boys are fully aware of that.
And you were already in the thick of the spot fires in your first game back. Is that what we expect from you in a derby, where it's that the heat goes up another level?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you've seen derbies gone past, and you know how emotional they get and how fiery they get, and I'm not expecting anything less.
Can you take us through how you've handled the last year, well, even couple of years, because you've had a pretty rough run. How did you get through it? The difficulties, the mental side of things.
Yeah, it's been tough. One after another. It's not easy. I just sort of wanted to be back on the pitch playing football. That's all I wanted to do, and I just felt like I couldn't get on a roll. I just kept going, getting setback after setback. But I'm in the perfect environment to help me thrive and help me through these things. And I've got a beautiful family that helps me every day when I get home to sort of forget about everything and just roll on to the next day. So, like I said, the environment that I'm in really helps players thrive, whether you're on the pitch or off it. So, I'm pretty grateful.
What was it like getting back on the pitch, Andy? Because you went down early in the last season, and then a cavalcade of other injuries meant that the kids came through. Did it almost feel like a kindergarten when you walked back onto the pitch? The amount of youngsters that you wouldn't have played with before out there with you.
Yeah, I felt like the dad of the group. But it felt great, to be honest, Joey. I didn't feel out of touch. I didn't feel out of sync. Like I said to Scotty Mack after the game, I felt like I'd just been on the bench for the last 12 months and just haven't played. I got on the pitch and everything sort of went into autopilot. I knew exactly what I was doing, and nothing felt out of touch. So it was. I'm pretty thankful to be able to feel like that for sure after 12 months out.
You've always been a real pro, Andy. What sort of football do you feel like you've got left in you over the next few years? Like, you've been away with the Socceroos, you've played some great football at A-League level. What do you feel like is in store for you?
Oh, I've still got a long way. I've still got a lot left in the tank. Even though I've been out for 12 months, I'm back and I'm really enjoying football. And the main thing for me is every morning I wake up and I really want to come to training, and I'm really excited to come to training. And when that flame burns out, then I'll know. But it's still as fiery as ever, and I still think I've got so much left to give.
And Andy, you've been on both sides of this derby. How does it compare from being in the victory camp to being in the city camp?
They told me no curveball questions. No, I mean, I've had success at both clubs, and obviously being at Melbourne City for 6 years now, I've really found myself at home here, and I love these games. I love playing in these derbies. I've played in a lot of them, and genuinely, there's not many better games to play in than a Melbourne derby. I haven't experienced the Sydney derby, but being from Melbourne and being biased, I think this is by far the best derby in the land. And where else would you rather be than Amy Park on Derby Day?
Andy, in the long run, when you look to get back to starting games, where do you envision playing? Because you started last season as a centre forward, you've come on for Max in these past 2 games, but I mean, do you envision yourself that you'll be kicking out to the wing, and if Max is starting alongside you in the future?
Yeah, possibly. I've had these conversations with Vidi and just sort of said that wherever I'm needed, I'll play. And obviously, Maxi's had a fantastic start to the season, and I told him at the start of the season that he was going to win the Golden Boot. And if that's me on the right helping him get there, then I'm more than happy. I'm just wherever I am on the pitch, mate. As long as it's not in defence, I'm happy to go.
How have you looked out for a few of your teammates with all the soft tissue injuries, and because you've had to be in the rehab room longer than most? Last year there was a bit of an injury crisis. Now there's a few soft tissues. How have you sort of helped keep spirits up in that regard?
I think that sort of it comes with the territory of being at Melbourne City. We've had conversations to not let it affect us. Obviously, we've had a couple of big players go down with injuries, but that's football. We got through it last season, and we're definitely going to get through it this season. And those boys are on the mend, and whenever we can get them back is fantastic. But the boys in the change room know that whatever happens, whoever steps out on the pitch, we have a job to do. And like I said before, it doesn't matter who's not there on game day. It just matters who's in that change room and stepping out on the pitch.
You just mentioned Max before. You've played with some pretty handy strikers. How highly do you rate this kid?
A lot, to be honest. I rate him really highly. He's he's got a lot of tools to help him be a top striker, not only here but overseas as well. And he's still so young. You forget how young they are. And I think he's 19. Correct me if I'm wrong. 20. I don't think I turned pro till I was 19, and he's already been around it for 2 or 3 years. And he's learnt from the likes of J-Mac and myself and Lex. So he's really developed his game a lot over the last few years, and honestly, you've seen how he started this season. I believe that he can only get better, and he's a real shot to finish on a pretty high goal tally this season.